So we're looking to do at least 2, if not 3 test sites, but we're still trying to get some paperwork along, situated there for approvals from homeowners or property owners.
So you got TIF 3 money
Where's
allocated?
the 3 at?
So one would be on the county property. There's that wooded area right off of, I think, County Farm Road, is that what they call that? And then one is back by Heritage Woods, and then we're looking at a location by Peters, or not, by Legion Park.
All the stars lining up, probably the one.
Ideally, it'd be the one either by the county property or realistically the one by Heritage Woods, because there's already a dead end main that runs to the back of their property. So it would resolve a stagnant water issue there, dead end, complete that loop, and we're already extending that up to 10th Street, so that would be ideal. Huh?
That's probably the more perfect world spot.
Yeah, but that would come with land purchase from Martin if we were to find water there.
And all 3 of them locations keep getting farther and farther away from the west tower.
Unfortunately.
I think you told me here a while back, we're already pushing water almost 3 miles.
So we are pushing that a long distance to that west side tower. I haven't come up with a solution on the arsenic we have on west side. I know if we do a well out there, I know what kind of quality we're gonna get. It's a matter of them being prepared to treat the arsenic if we put in a well.
Did we have enough setback on that lot north of the firehouse?
North of the fire station 2, or
Whatever downtown
The
is.
one in town by the
Oh.
elevated legged.
I showed that to the well drillers, and they instantly said, you're never gonna get a permit for that. I mean, with the sewer setbacks and building setbacks, the EPA, they don't want wells drilled in the middle of town on a lot anymore. That's just, those days are kinda over with.
Out of Peters Park, I believe on Raymond Road, that's a 6-inch main. We're talking about an 8-inch main on Elm. It's high, it's above floodplain out there. I mean, would there be any location there that we could tap into that new main we're proposing to build? I know that 6-inch runs around to the nursing home and out to Rosano subdivision, ties back in on Sheridan.
That dead ends out there past Geiger's house on Raymond Road, or whatever that turns into. I think it's County Road at that point.
But going west on Sheridan, it comes up to 3rd Street. I believe that's a 6 they replaced that with several years ago. And
Do we look at some of the property that's available out there?
well, that's what I'm asking. I mean, it's high and above the floodplain, and
Or even the Mueller property?
it'd be a shorter water tower than putting something out in Legion Park.
The reason I was looking at the south side of town is,
The
so
hospital,
if
nursing
we,
home.
12-inch main, if there's a divide downtown, you have water on both sides. I agree that we need to get on the west side as well. We're on the east side now. It would be ideal to have one on the west side and one on the south side, so you cover the majority of the town.
I think there's a house out there that you could probably draw from their water to see what roughly the water might be like. I don't know how deep the well is, but I'm sure it's over 100 feet.
Yeah, I mean, if
that
we
would
can,
be
if we can run, if we have a contact or you know somebody that we could,
I can talk to them.
we would pay for the testing. We could do some water quality testing there for arsenic and, vinyl chloride and everything. We'll just run a full gambit of samples there and make sure that the quality's good. Granted, you run in the situation where a residential well doesn't pull in that much water. You drop in a 12-inch casing and you start pulling 600 to 800 gallons a minute. That starts pulling in different things, so it could change still, but it at least gives you a snapshot of what the water looks like.
Well, like I said, I was asking, just giving an option if it's anything.
I think the more options we have, the better off we are. When you do a test well, that doesn't mean that you have to drill a well immediately. Then you know what kind of water you have. You know the volume of water you can pull out of the ground. that gives you sites to drill on later in life as you need it. So I mean, if we find 2, 3, 4 sites we want to do test wells on, we know what we have. We can plan for whatever we want in the future on those sites then.
I was thinking maybe at the east end of Sheridan where it dead ends in the park, right there by the uphill diamond. I mean, that's a city road already, and it's not gonna go any farther if Randy does anything with that lot. And that would be maybe an area you could put something. But it's
The east end of,
Sheridan Street. It runs into Peters Park, goes right by the uphill diamond, and it ends. I mean,
so you're talking the Moeller subdivision area there.
well, before you get to Muller subdivision,
Okay.
yeah. It's just, it's been plotted out for 100 years or whatever, 200 years, and they never built it. I was just saying that might be a piece of ground that it's already cities anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the more test wells we can do, the more information we have to know what we can do. I mean, until you do a test well, you don't know if there's even water there. So, yeah, I mean,
There's 5 acres that John Whitman owns, the Roth house,
okay.
right there next to the road, going to that house.
Yeah,
That might be another area. Well, I don't know if that's in the flood.
That floods.
That floods, okay,
Yeah.
never mind.
That's why I was talking the park more, because the uphill diamond's 6, 8
high.
feet higher. I don't know how much it is, but it's higher.
but to make our water system reliable, we do need to branch out. And I agree, in every direction. You never know when the town's gonna be isolated for one reason or another, so the more opportunities we have to feed from different directions, the better off we're gonna be to provide that reliable source water. So, yeah, if you can get in contact with the person out there on Raymond Road with that private well,
Talk to you.
let me know and we'll set up some sampling over there.
Just the west end.
I still think the closer we can stay to that west tower, the better we're gonna be. And
No,
every location, we keep getting further and further away. So, either that or maybe on down the road, let's just think about abandoning the tower. If we don't wanna keep it filled up, having to push water 3 miles, that ain't gonna be good for these.
well, the EPA requires 24-hour storage, so we would have to look at the volume of the other 2 tanks, to see if we still meet our storage. I don't know if we quite make that. I think some of our water quality has improved since we got that chlorine injection system in the west side tower up and going. We've been able to keep that going for 6 months steady now. I haven't had any issues with the trailer park calling in low chlorine issues or anything like that. Us adding those auto flushers on the west side, by the west side tower and then over on Gasoline Alley, I believe that's helped some water quality complaints as well. I think we're doing a good job combating what we have, but we can continue the thought process of treating arsenic. It's a matter of how much and trying to get some real numbers behind that. It's just been difficult to get people to respond to it, unfortunately.
Hell, in 6 months, we may have to be treating these.
You never know.
That's
Yeah,
right.
unfortunately, you never know.
It's just a question of when and how much.
Yeah, it's a matter of buying the equipment and maintaining it and, you know, the chemical costs, so.
I have just one last question. The street sweeper, does that run once a month, every month, or do we have a frequency that we're doing that, or?
We run it every month. We run the full route. Typically, it's early in the month, Thursday nights when we run downtown. And then there's been times where if we get complaints or we, have calls where garbage spills, glass broken on the streets, we'll run it periodically, or if we see, if there's some random operation of it as well.
Okay, just wondered. Thank you.
Anything else?
But the full route takes a week. And, you know, so that's, I don't know if we necessarily needed to run more than a full week, but I've gotten complaints.
I didn't
that-
know how long it took to do
Oh,
the
yeah,
full
it
route.
takes it takes a full entire 5 days to do the full route. But I have gotten complaints that people say the street sweeper runs too much, so it's,
Can't win either way.
yeah, exactly, so.
I know when it goes past my house, because it's at night.
I tell them to honk the horn in front of your house.
I don't
No,
care.
I'm just kidding.
Doesn't bother me. I'm always awake when it goes by.
No,
I'm just happy that you're doing it that way now, because I used to run it during the day on a Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning when school was in session, and it missed 3/4 of the curve, so.
no.
Okay, if nothing else, motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.